On that note, let's bring in Mr. Max Igan. He is a political commentator who is joining us via Skype out of Brisbane to share with us his thoughts on Mr. Katz's comments.
Well, this is pretty just typical of the West. You've got to understand that they just like war and they like blood and death, and they want to see the world burn. That's the problem with the people that are running the world. And I mean, when you really look at the situation realistically, Iran hasn't attacked another nation in 270 years, but Iran is outside the system. So they want to bring Iran into the fold and make it part of this entire worldwide banking network that they've got running. And Iran really shouldn't take it personally, because if it wasn't Iran that they were attacking, it'd just be someone else, especially at this time as well. I mean, if you really look at things on the world perspective, with what's happened with Jeffrey Epstein and this whole uncovering, Prince Andrew, which has all been linked back to Israeli Secret Service and all of this sort of stuff. So they really need to distract the world from that as well and create another theatre of conflict to lead the people's attention in another direction. These people just want to see the world burn, and that's the way it is, and they'll do anything to achieve that objective, unfortunately.
If they were to further their goals through wars, I'm just going to give you examples of Saudi Arabia. How successful has it been in its war in Yemen? How successful has Israel been in its regional wars, the ones that it has had during the past couple of years against the Palestinian resistance movement, as well as the Lebanese resistance movement, Hezbollah? And how successful has the U.S. actually been, in bringing about peace and security, as they claimed once after the fall of Saddam Hussein in Iraq? I can go on and on and on. What makes them think that, they have the power, that in the unlikely event, to me at least, that they want to stage a war against Iran, they'll be successful?
Well, they don't. That's the thing. They don't care about being successful. Look at their track record, as you pointed out. They haven't had any success anywhere. I mean, the American forces are spread so thin around the rest of the world. And as well, I mean, it isn't just going to be Iran. If America and Israel and all these people decide to go start dropping bombs on Tehran, I mean, I don't think Russia and China and all these other people are going to sit by and just sort of allow this to happen. So it'd end up being something really, really dramatic. But I think a lot of it is theatre. They just want to control the narrative. They want to control the headlines. They want to distract people. Think it's all about fear. We've got to worry about the enemy coming to attack us. We're always under threat. Now, as I pointed out on the last Press TV appearance I did, since the United Nations were formed, we've had more wars in Earth's recorded history up to that point, since they formed this body to prevent more wars. I mean, it's been ridiculous. So I don't think it stands a chance against Iran. I think it would be an incredibly foolish move, but I think a lot of it is theatre to distract people's attention away from a lot of other things that are making the headlines at the moment, which is really uncovering this incredibly corrupt global network which is running, and a lot of it is all leading back to Israeli intelligence. They really need to deflect attention away from that, and Iran is, of course, the best choice.
Well, actually, Israel has time and again proved that, every once in a while they come up with comments like that when they see that the U.S. has been either the measures actually the U.S. takes against Iran are not enough or are not working. Simply because of that, every once in a while they actually become belligerent and, come up with comments like that. How do you comment on this? And I think they have a point in this, if you also agree with that, Mr. Igan, that if the sanctions against Iran imposed by the U.S. were successful, why would Israel have to make any move against Iran?
Exactly, it doesn't. It's theatre. Israel just likes doing this. And as you say, it doesn't stand a chance. I mean, it hasn't been able to do it. It couldn't do anything at all if it didn't have the massive amount of US aid that it's got. And as you say, Saudi Arabia can't even wage a war against Yemen, which is the poorest nation in the whole area. So, they don't have a hope at all. I mean, this is theatre. Israel needs this. It would be good for Netanyahu's election campaign as well. Look, I'm trying to be a steadfast leader, because he's in a lot of difficulty at the moment. So he's threatening Gaza, he's threatening Iran, he's doing everything he can to appear as the steadfast leader. And he hasn't got a hope. He hasn't got a hope in anything of pulling this off. So, I mean, I don't think Iran has much to worry about. But like I said, Iran shouldn't take it personally. If it wasn't Iran, it'd be someone else. They just like to do this. They like to wave the sabres of war and rattle them everywhere and keep the people in their own nations in fear and just pretend that there's a real threat when there really isn't.
Okay, thank you very much. That's Mr. Max Igan, political commentator via Skype out of Brisbane.